Hello and welcome to Catholic Focus. In today's episode, we're going to take a look at the power of music, both as an art form and as something that can touch people's lives. Joining me today in studio are two people who have experienced this power firsthand. I have Father Robert Galea, a priest of the Diocese of Sandhurst in Australia, and Monica Marziota, a singer who is best known for her contemporary Italian and Latin classical music. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So first off, I'd like to ask each of you if you could tell us a little bit, how did you get involved in music? And I'll give Monica the first word.
First of all, I come from a musician's family. My whole family, my family on my mom's side, they're all musicians, classic musicians. My grandfather used to be the composer and orchestra director, and my mom studied at the Conservatory of Havana. I was born in Havana because I'm half Italian, half Cuban. My uncle plays in the Symphony of Madrid, and we all have this heritage, this background of classic music heritage, and also jazz and Latin jazz.
So you were really surrounded by it your whole life?
Yes, I was born in that environment, so it was very complicated not to react this way. So.
And Father Rob?
I started playing music when I was about 17 years old. I'd never picked up an instrument or sang or anything like that before I was 17, although my mother used to play the guitar. I think it was after a deep spiritual experience I had in a group. They needed someone to play the guitar, so I attempted and I tried. And I started to sing and also to write music, and then by the time I was 19 years old, I started to play regularly in my music group, in a prayer group sort of thing.
One question I want to throw in, your music is explicitly Christian Catholic music, prayerful music. Your music is more contemporary. It's things like, volare, things that we would hear on the radio. But what impact does music have on your prayer life when you actually go in to a church and sit down to pray or go to a mass? How important is music in that for you?
I think music is something that somehow transcends the mind and goes straight to the heart. I remember the first CD I ever bought was a CD of The Offspring, which is an Australian rock grunge band. And you put the CD in, and I still remember the first words that come out of that CD, and it says that music is a powerful thing because music can soothe even the savage beast. And that is so true, because it goes beyond the mind, it goes beyond the intellect and goes straight to the heart. It's a universal language. And I believe that is the language that we can also communicate with God. And this is very much what I do through my ministry as well, is trying to speak the language of the heart.
That reminds me of a quote I heard once, that after the chaos, after something big happens, that which expresses best the inexpressible is music.
Yeah, that's right. And I just the countless teenagers, including myself when I was a teenager, I used to have an argument with my parents and then go to my room, slam the door and put on my music full blast. The world couldn't understand me, but somehow my music could. And this is at the same, similarly with God. The world cannot understand us, but even in our darkest moments, God can. And sometimes he expresses this through music.
Music for me, as for a lot of people, is very important. I think music has the power to make you believe in the unbelievable, to make you a better person. I'm the type of person that I listen from canto gregoriano to pop. I mean, and they are in between Donizetti, Mozart, salsa, and pop and jazz, and each part of them gives me the right rhythm and the right mood to make me feel better in different places or moods. Music is very important. If you teach someone the value of the music, to hear, to listen, to appreciate the right music, it makes you a better person. It gives the light that is inside of you.
Wow. As you mentioned, your music is more contemporary, and we're going to take a look now at a clip from a video that Monica has. This is the making of. Monica was in studio recently recording her song Esse Domani. It's a cover of a very famous Italian song
Yes.
by a very famous Italian artist, Mina, and we're going to take a look now at Monica in the recording studio.
Io non potessi rivedere te. Mettiamo il caso che ti sentissi stanco di me. Quello che basta all'altra gente non mi darà. Nemmeno l'ombra della perduta felicità. E se domani, e sottolineo se, all'improvviso perdessi te, avrei perduto il mondo intero, non solo a te. Si mañana yo no pudiera volverte a ver, supone el caso que te olvidarás, ay de mi querer. Yo viviría.
So you both touched on how music really kind of it expresses something within or helps you connect with something within that is undescribable, that can't be put to words. Shifting gears just a little bit, what about music as a vocation? I know for you, Father Rob, it's an intrinsic part of your priestly ministry. You've incorporated into that. What are your thoughts on music as part of this vocation?
Look, I always say that my primary vocation, first of all, my first calling is that to be a follower of Christ. That is the most important. After that is my vocation to the priesthood, the ministerial priesthood, and that is to serve through sacrament and through word. And only after that, then that's where my music comes in. And I believe that my music comes into the part of the word. You see, and as I was saying before, that music is the language of the heart. And what better way to proclaim the word than through the language of the heart? So I do preach and I do look after a parish, I do work in schools, but I find music somehow gives the message where 1,000 words cannot. One song can sort of let the message of the gospel come home to the hearts of people. And so this is where it is in my particular vocation within the priesthood, and that is to proclaim the word. And I do that through music, through song, through word, through proclaiming, through television programs and through other things. But I think music somehow does it best of all.
It almost sounds like a vocation within a vocation.
That's exactly right.
Now, what about for you, Monica? How do you see your role as a singer?
Well, hopefully I will make people that can listen to me to feel good, to feel something. It's like something about her in her melody that I like, you know, serenity, and I like that. I have worked with little kids because I volunteer in Rome, in a very difficult part of Italy, close to Naples. We went to this difficult school, and we talked to these beautiful kids, but they didn't want to listen to us. They were very, who are you here for? And, you know, and it's like, okay, don't listen to us. Just come to a concert. Just come to the piazza, and we're gonna sing. We're gonna sing all together. And suddenly they became very interesting. And they came over, we sang together, and even their parents and the whole community saw the difference and how they possibly react to that, and that's the power of music.
And that's a very Italian thing as well. When I was living there, I
is.
noticed that there were these, we would call them a community center here, the oratorio, but kids go there and they can either play soccer or
Yes.
they can learn how to play an instrument and be part of a musical band, and that draws them into, sometimes to the faith, sometimes just draws them into being a better person.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm sure you have seen as well how music can impact people.
Yes, very much so. I mean, part of my ministry is in working with young people. A very big part of my ministry. I work developing a youth program in country Victoria in Australia, but also working in a prison and in a secondary school. So I work in a juvenile prison and also a secondary school with about 1,700 high school students. And you'd go into classes or you'd go into the prison and they're just so, as you were saying, just so unattentive, so disinterested. And then all of a sudden I pick up the guitar, sing a few songs, and they're just all of a sudden different people.
Exactly. So there's where you see the miracle. And you see, okay, God is here.
That's exactly right. That's it. And they'd be ready to listen. And a prisoner once told me, for example, one of a young teenager, he said, somehow while you were singing, it made me cry. Sort of, it just I had to hold back the tears. He said, probably if I heard your, I wouldn't buy your CD. He told me. But somehow listening to it live, somehow listening to it in this way, it just has impacted my life. And kept on asking so many questions about the song. And one of the things that I do also is, because it is a state-run prison, I'm not allowed to speak about God in Australia and within the prison. But somehow I could sing the songs which give me an opening to speak about God. I'm explaining the songs, basically, and which happen to be about God. And somehow that also is God in the music, that creating an opening where otherwise I couldn't preach the word, otherwise I couldn't proclaim the gospel.
And we're going to take a look now at the video for Reach Out by Father Rob Galea.
Little girl, why are you running away? So far from all that you know is true. What has the world done to you? You get up, only to find that you're crushed again beneath the weight of your loneliness. There is a way if only you would trust. Reach out to the hands that are longing to save you, and cry out to the one who has loved you and made you, to the God who will never forsake you. Little boy, don't wipe the tears from your eyes. The darkness be your only company. You can still be all you wanna be. You can still be all you wanna be. So reach out to the hands that are longing to save you, and cry out to the one who has loved you and made you. Oh, reach out. Cry out. Through the storm, through it all, I will cry out and sing a hallelujah. Through the storm, through it all, through it all, through the storm, I will cry out and sing a hallelujah.
is not one of the only things that the two of you have in common. You're also both seasoned World Youth Day participants. I'd like to ask both of you, actually, which World Youth Days have you participated in, and well, first, which ones have you participated in, Father Rob?
I've participated in Sydney 2008 and the 2011 in Madrid.
And Monica?
I participated here in Toronto, 2002, and last year in Madrid as a volunteer at Casa Italia.
So you were both participants in one of the most chaotic World Youth
Yes, in a way.
Yes. I want to ask both of you to talk a little bit about your experiences at World Youth Day and why are they so powerful, or what was your experience? Was your experience at these World Youth Days so powerful? Monica, I'll start with you.
Well, I was so excited to when I was in Toronto in 2002. I used to live here, so I wasn't volunteering. I just participated as a member of the city of Toronto, and I was really young and. I was far from home because I was studying here. I was here with relatives, but it's not the same. And in a way, this World Youth Day gave me the strength to say, okay, I'm not alone, because there's all these kids from around the world just like me that, that we're not lost. It was a great experience, and I needed that in Toronto during those years because I was feeling kind of like lonely because I wasn't living with my parents. So I needed that. I needed a World Youth Day back in 2002.
What about for you, Father Rob?
Yes, I went to the 2008 World Youth Day by surprise, unexpectedly in a sense, because I was asked by the World Youth Day office to sing. I was supposed to leave back for Malta at that time, but the World Youth Day office in Sydney asked me to perform, to sing at World Youth Day. It was supposed to be a small event, and then ended up singing the theme song, the Italian verse of the theme song, and then singing at the Stations of the Cross and also at other concerts. So I had about 10 performances within the week of World Youth Day. So I cannot say I really experienced World Youth Day as a pilgrim in that sense. It was most of my time was spent backstage or preparing or rehearsing or on stage. But one thing, that being my first World Youth Day, I just found, like Monica was saying, is just that massive sense of community, that massive sense of belonging to something bigger, something greater than yourself. Now, I live in Australia, so I know the difference between Australia during World Youth Day and out of World Youth Day. Just this is something that people, for example, were praying the rosary in the trains. People were singing and praying as they were walking in the streets. That is absolutely unheard of anywhere else. And it was just gave the young people a sense of freedom. Given the ideal situation, how would I react? How would I act in my faith? And just people, in a sense, coming able to express their faith in a way that they wouldn't be able to do at home and with their friends, given a different situation.
Something that someone told me recently was, you don't choose World Youth Day. World Youth Day chooses you.
Exactly.
Did you both have that feeling? I mean, you weren't even expecting to go,
Yes.
but that you did, you were asked to, and that's really where Salt and Light and the rest of the
Yes.
world came to really know you.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
you
I
had this-
didn't expect it at all. I was just living in Toronto, and it was my first one, and I was like, oh my God, like, what is this? I love this. Like, I'm so happy right now. And it was really nice. And last year, I belonged to this center in Rome called Centro San Lorenzo. I volunteer with them, and we do a lot of work together. And through them, I got asked to be part of the World Youth Day in Madrid as a volunteer representing Casa Italia, and there it was another type of World Youth Day. I was there up from like 6 a.m. till like 2 a.m. and we were and just there to help. Anything there is to do, we're there. We're soldiers. It was so great. I came back home not even tired. I was funny. It's like, oh, when I go back home, I want to sleep all day long. I'm like, I got home, I was like talking about it all the time.
Yes. I was working for Madrid, so I understand what you were feeling exactly. And what about for you, Madrid?
Madrid was a different experience because this time I went as a chaplain to one of our youth groups, one of our diocesan contingency. So with the Sandhurst group, we have a group of about 70 young people, and we took them up to Madrid. So that was, in a sense, I had the pilgrim experience, but also had the opportunity to sing at the Australian gathering and also at the Canadian gathering. So in front of 5,000 to 10,000 young people within gatherings, and that was a really good experience, but it was a different focus. I went up as a pilgrim, and in a sense I didn't spend my whole time thinking that I was going to perform. I didn't know what I was going to do a few minutes before I started singing, so I just grabbed the guitar. We had to sing for 3 minutes, even though I did change the program a bit in the Canadian gathering to Father Tom's surprise.
Yes, none of the bishops really minded that you did
that. That was good, yeah. So so that was a really good experience for me as well, just being there as a pilgrim, being there with young people, experiencing their joys and their sorrows as they went along this pilgrimage.
Wonderful. That's all the time we have, but just before we sign off, I want to give each of you a chance to promote your website so that if people are interested in seeing more of your music and listening to more, they know where to go. Monica, where can we see you online?
Well, monicamarziota.com will be on in a few months, but right now they can follow me on Twitter, Monica Marziota, or Facebook, Monica Marziota.
Perfect. Thank you.
And my website is fatherrobgalea.com, so FRROBGALEA.com. And also I'm on Twitter and Facebook, which they can also link from that website.
Wonderful. Thank you, both of you, for
Thank you for having us.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
And that's it for today. If you have any questions or comments, write to us at focus@saltandlighttv.org. I'm Alicia Ambrosio saying see you next time.